Hello.
Here we go. Hello.
There you are.
Hi. I'm
Hi.
here.
How are you?
I'm good. How are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good. I'm in a new location.
It's kind of dark there.
I know. I don't have. Is that better?
A little better.
Maybe I'll tell her. It's not my. It's not my house.
That's
I'm
okay.
borrowing. So, how are you? How was your day?
Just been busy. Always busy.
Yeah.
Yep. You were busy too, obviously.
Yes, we're graduation parties this week, so good. Good friends.
Good.
So,
Good.
how are your games this week, and how's new coaching going?
Everything's going really well. Very exciting. Everything. A lot going on. A lot of learning and a lot of coaching.
Yeah.
Spending a lot of time coaching, which is awesome. Having a good time with it. The girls I'm coaching are fantastic. They are super coachable and they're loving working on the mental side of everything as well. And they, I mean, they're getting better every single day. And so that's what we like to see.
Yeah. And you guys have started working on a lot of just positive mental stuff with them, right? Like really getting to know who they are and just getting to know them personally so they can be better athletes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually had a meeting to just kind of go over mental stuff with all of them, just to kind of see where their heads were at, what they're going through, and then also for them to like bond with each other and understand that they're all kind of going through it together. They're not alone, and create that team bonding and see that us as coaches have also been there, done that. Um, just like the relatability and bonding. And so we had a really, really great meeting. Girls were able to share a lot about themselves. And I absolutely think that it helped because we had 2 games later that day and played both those games and they won and they all did really well. So
those are first wins, right?
Yeah.
For the summer.
Yeah. Those were our first ones.
Awesome. That's awesome. You know, we talked about when Dad and I were there and watched your first game, right? And I think the reason why this topic came up was because the first game that we watched before you guys started playing, there was such a difference in coaching styles. And one of the teams that the first team was, or the first game that we watched, the coach like completely took herself out of the game.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that she wasn't there to teach the kids. She wasn't there to be relatable. She wasn't there to be their coach, but it was more like, you're not doing this. You're not, I'm telling you to do this and you're not doing it. Never, and she completely like was pissed the whole time. And it was so interesting for me to watch her because seriously, when they missed a shot or they did an error, there was no coaching there. Like she just got mad, she yelled at them, and then she would just roll her eyes and shake her head every time something would happen. And then when they would get in their huddle, she would just yell at them. And, the whole gym could hear them, which, sometimes that happens, but this is the first game of league, right? And so not to say that they haven't been playing together, but you're not doing your team any favors by doing that. And so it was interesting to watch that. And then to watch your team, which this was your guys' first game, you're, brand new coaches with this team, and you knew they weren't ready, but you set them up for success. You said, hey, bench, you're going to cheer them on. We're going to, no matter what, we're going to be a team together. And we're going to cheer you on no matter what. We're going to teach you, because anytime they did something that, they needed to improve on, you guys pulled them out and you talked to them. And it was so interesting for me to see that. and how different the girls responded to you versus the girls' response to the other team. Because the other team, the girls were on the bench and their heads were down. You could see it on the court. They weren't cheering each other on. They weren't supporting each other. They were mad. They were just as mad as the coach. So that energy that coach gave, it wasn't just in her own world. It was the whole team. And she brought the entire team down.
Yeah.
And I think, God, what could she have done differently that would have changed that? And it was so funny because one minute that I had that thought and watched you guys, that was the exact thing that could have happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's such a fine line with coaches. And I think I say that all the time, that everything's such a fine line, because you go through a roller coaster of emotions the whole time that you're coaching, especially if you're passionate about it. And so we preach and we really like try to make sure that we're on top of it in the ways of, if I am talking about something negative with you, I'm going to follow it up with like 2 more positives, or like double more positives are going to be talked about than the negatives. And especially when, I mean, it's summer ball, so nothing, especially at the high school level, summer ball doesn't mean anything.
It's all learning. It's just
yeah, and you don't have like any of your varsity players. You maybe have a couple. Like, your team is probably a mix of freshman teams, C teams, varsity, JV. Like, it's a mixture of everybody. And so it's like, how mad can you really get?
Right.
Like, can you really get that mad when you have some girls who shouldn't be playing at this level already? So like, what's the point, kind of thing.
But it's experience. They all have to have experience.
Yeah, and then I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it just for summer ball, and all around you should always be able to, like, I think it's okay to have like the passion and like the frustration because of like the belief that you have of your kids. And not all coaches are like that. Like, we are, we get so frustrated because we know that the girls can do so much better, and we tell them that all the time, how much we believe in them. And it's just time for them to believe in themselves. So it's just kind of like different ways of going about it, definitely. But it's so important to go about it in the more like, don't listen to the tone of my voice, listen to what I'm saying to you. And I know a lot of coaches struggle to say things in the right way with all the excitement of everything.
Sure.
And so that's why it's so important. Like, but if you communicate that, then it's okay, and your kids have an understanding. But if you don't communicate that to them, then they're just like, oh, that's the mean coach. I don't want that coach. They're just mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's games are games, and you get excited about games. Everyone's going to have a passion for games and doing the sport, and that's natural. But learn your kids, get to know them, get to know how you can motivate them, get to know what they're going through. The kids are, especially at this age, are going through so much anyway. And so learn how to focus them on the current game, where they're at, let go of their outside influences. What is their outside influences? We always talk about that too. Mm-hmm. But then just knowing that, God, we're going to cheer you on. We're going to give you that compliment sandwich. We're going to tell you you're great. We're going to tell you what you need to do better. And then we're going to tell you what you're doing great again.
Yeah.
And that's going to make you better, because that's going to push you to be better. But when all you're doing is just shouting and telling them everything they're doing wrong, and you're not doing anything right, and how can you not be doing anything right when I'm telling you this is what you need to do? Yeah. What does that do to anybody?
Yeah.
Just tears you down, and just, it just puts in your head, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah. And a lot of those kinds of coaches too are like the kinds that'll be like, they rely on the team to bring the energy, to be the supportiveness without them. And that's really difficult. Mm-hmm. Like, I experienced a coach like that in college, and it was all like, both of my coaches were super negative, like one of them tried to be positive, but in reality was like just like as negative, if not more negative, as the head coach. And like it was just a constant like battle. Like a lot of us were trying to like bring the energy, bring the excitement, cheer on our teammates, but like it becomes so much where it's like everybody is being just pooped on, and you can't control it. Like I can't be the one that's bringing everybody up when everybody's pissed off, and I'm going to be the only one on the bench that's doing something. Like it's not going to do anything. And so it's just so contagious. And like you do see some teams that do that, and they are successful at like the team is the one that brings the energy. But I feel like those teams are the ones that have been playing with each other for 10 years, like years and years and years and years and years. They play outside of their right or their organized teams. And most of the time they're coaching the game anyways. The coach isn't really doing anything. So that's just like
family
different
bond,
coaches. Yeah.
And that's, like you're trying to build right now with your team is that family bond. And once you have that, and once you trust, once you get that trust within your team, where they're going to be on the court or wherever they're at on the field. You have that trust in them. That they can do the job. And if they can't, it's okay. That they can down the line, that they're going to keep their head up and they're going to keep going. But when you don't have that family dynamic and the kids don't trust themselves and trust their team, then there's no success. And so if you have kids that don't trust the team, and then you don't trust your coach because your coach is a jerk, then you don't have a team.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of sport it is. And that's in life too. If you don't trust your coworkers, if you don't trust the people that you're around, then you're not going to succeed, because you're relying on yourself, and that doesn't always work.
Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. And it's hard. It's like, it's such a fine line. And it's so challenging. But I think if a coach is there for the right reasons and has like positive goals, or even just like listens to their athletes, because most of the time, whether the athletes are saying it to directly or indirectly, like they're telling you without telling you most of the time. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice, and that. And so it's not like you can't fix it. You are in control. And we were talking about the other day, just like ego, coaches and their ego, and it's like they're trying to prove something. They're not there for the right reasons. Like they're doing it for themselves. Like I don't coach to make myself feel better. I coach because I want to provide what I was never given. And a lot of coaches that I coach with now are the exact same way. They are trying to either continue to provide what they were given or provide what they were not given. So you're not there to boost your ego. You're there to better the sport, better the game, and create like amazing athletes.
Yes. And I think that's the biggest thing that I would love to see across the board is coaches being in it for the team and there to create amazing athletes.
Yeah.
And taking themselves out of the spotlight. It's awesome to have the win, but you didn't do it by yourself as a coach. You had to have the team to do it. Even the kids, the ones that think, I'm the ones that are the best player on the team, they couldn't do it by themselves. They could not carry that 5-man team or that whatever many, whatever sport it is. There's a reason why there's no I in team, because they can't do it by themselves.
Yeah.
Even golf, you think, golf's, but you're still on a team if you're on a school sport. You still have to provide something for the team, and you have to carry each other to get through. And it's something that needs to be taught, because even though you're a great player, you're going to play the whole time and you're going to be, but you still have to have everyone else to pass to. You still have to have everyone else play defense and rebound and, do all the things.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, even in professional sports like golf, they have a team. It might not be a typical type of team, but they have their caddy and they have their families and they have their whole entire agency or whatever that helps them get to where they need to get.
Yeah.
They have a team and they have coaches. They have, they have trainers that are helping them reach those goals. So even if it's not a conventional team of, your basketball, your football, your whatever, there's still a team that is there to help you and who is going to help you reach it. And so that's why, like, we have talked a lot about how we think this program needs to be directed towards coaches, because coaches are the ones who create the athletes and create the minds and the physical skills. And if the coaches can't get on board with it, how are the athletes ever going to fall through it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're the leading force, and they're the ones that are teaching them the sport. They're the ones that are teaching them how to do things. So why wouldn't you be on board mentally and physically as a coach to teach them? They can't do one without the other. And if you don't know that as a coach, you need to learn, because watch your teams. If they're not mentally in it, you're most likely not going to have a successful game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy. And honestly, if you just go and watch any game, whether it's golf, football, basketball, baseball, it doesn't matter what it is. If you watch the energy of the coach, you can tell the energy of the team. And if it's a positive or a negative environment, or if it's somewhere in between.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's important for coaches to look and see it as like a reality check. Like, I love going and watching other teams, and I watch the coaches. I watch, the game and stuff, but I also really watch the coaches and see what are they saying, how are they saying it, how are the athletes responding to it, and then I can tell most of the time just from looking at a coach what kind of coach they are. And if, like, for example, I watched this team the other day and I was like, this team coaches themselves. I was watching the coach and he did not have anything that was really beneficial to say or that was like helping them, just by watching him. And then the girls went out and were just like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. And they did it. You know what I mean? Like, he might give them something that could help them a little bit, but they were the ones that, like, this is how we're going to fix it.
But that's where that family comes in. Maybe he's a new coach and he hasn't been with them, but they've been together forever, so they know how to fix it, which is fine. And hopefully he'll get on board.
They're all street ballers. Yeah. They're all street ballers, so they play together all the time.
So and maybe he'll get on board, and maybe he'll be able to be a leader for them. But if not, then hopefully he'll just be that supporter for them and support them, and hopefully learn what they can and can't do. But we'll see. Yeah. But that's where coaches have to decide, what kind of coach do I want to be? Yeah. Am I going to tear them down, and am I gonna you can see when a coach is angry and coach is getting on them and they're jumping up and down and they're excited and they're pissed. But if you watch the team, you can tell, is he going to carry that anger to the team during timeouts, after the game, whatever, or is he just excited and into the game and just overly zealous? Is that and the team knows that that's his MO, but at the end he's going to be like, hey, good job, this is what we need to do. But he's also encouraging. Yeah. Or is he just be like, you guys suck and we're going to work our asses off from now on because you guys can't do anything? Yeah.
And, I mean, watch your own film. I had a video literally made of me coaching, and I was looking at it, I was like, geez, can't you smile? Just because, I mean,
you don't have to.
No, but like, for me, I was like, it was a very intense game that he had recorded. And so I know that there was portions where I was like, bouncing off the walls that he just didn't get, which is fine. But like just thinking about what you're talking about, yeah, I was, frustrated at points and not happy with some of my players, and I had to like, put them in their place, but at the same time, the relationship that I have with them, I can say something to them and they know that I'm doing it to better them, not to hurt them and not to make them feel
Yeah.
bad. And so like that's yeah, and so that's the difference. And so I think watching your own film, like, it's just film of the game, but like watch how you react in certain situations. Then you can really see like, oh, like sometimes you need a slap in the face, or it needs to be literally like shoved in your face for you to actually realize what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You might be like, oh, I don't do that. I don't do that. You watch film. Well, yeah, you actually do.
Yeah.
Um,
And watch how
so
your kids react to you. Actually, watch how your team reacts to you, because if you see them, if you've just nailed them and you watch the whole team and on the floor and on the bench, and all their heads are down and they're just, there's no enthusiasm, there's no cheering, there's no support for the rest of the team, there's something broken.
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely recommend for all coaches to watch yourself and your team and how you act, how they act, and how everything kind of comes across just from like a third person perspective. And then go watch other coaches and say, I don't want to be like that. I do want to be like that. And honestly, it can help you to create a better relationship with your athletes. And it can help you just be a better coach, because the negativity doesn't need to be there. There needs to be discipline and respect, but the negativity doesn't have to be there.
Yeah.
The I believe in you
You can be
needs to be
hard.
there.
You can be
Yeah.
tough without being negative.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So, I mean, coaches, it starts and ends with you. And so I definitely recommend all of you to just give yourself a little reality check and just check and see if, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Maybe it's like phew, good. I think I'm good. Yes, I can still get better, but I'm, on the right track to be a great coach.
Well, and practice leaving your outside influences at the door just as much as the kids. A lot of times what we have going on in our lives transfers over to games and transfers over to our teams, and they don't need it. They don't need your crap.
Yeah.
And they don't know what's going on. So check yourself before you step on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for coming on and watching. Our lives are kind of changing a little bit now, so I'm not really sure if we're going to stick with Fridays, but
it was Wednesday, so now we're Friday for second.
Yeah, everything is kind of all over the place right now, so I don't
keep watching and we'll figure it out.
We'll just stay posted and we'll get it going for you guys. So thank you all for watching. Mom, enjoy your night.
Thank you. You too.
And I'll see you next week.
Okay. See you later. Bye.
Bye.